Development for Breath of the Wild began right after Skyward Sword released in 2011. Skyward Sword was compared to other games at the time like Skyrim. This was an unfair comparison looking back, but it made sense at the time why so many people would see the two games and pick Skyrim over Skyward Sword. The restrictive nature of Skyward Sword and the motion controls turned a lot of people away from it. So the team over at Nintendo began to work on their next title, which would take over 5 years to complete and release. When Breath of the Wild finally launched in March of 2017, it sold more copies than the Switch itself, showing the anticipation for this title being higher than any other at the time. It quickly became the fastest selling and best selling game in the series, not even close. Here we are, 6 years from its launch, and looking at a sequel coming in just another month. I decided to play through Breath of the Wild and do all the beasts and a third of the shrines. I had just as much fun as I had when the game released. I believe the game holds up even today. Something can be said about how Nintendo presented the game to the public, holding your hand for the first minute or two before letting you explore the massive area known as the Great Plateau that sits in the middle of the map and has various landscapes within it. It is literally a preview for what's to come. After getting the 4 spirit orbs and the special abilities hidden within them, you are given the paraglider and told about what happened 100 years ago. That is it. From this point, 30 to 45 minutes in, you can literally do as you please. Want to run around and collect materials for hours? You can do that. Want to defeat enemies and take their stronger weapons? You can. Want to defeat the beast out of order? There is nothing stopping you. Want to face Calamity Ganon and beat the game? Good luck, but it is possible right from the start. The freedom introduced in this game is unlike any other. Let's take a look at the game. We'll start with the story. Link wakes up after slumbering for 100 years. You discover that you've been asleep for 100 years and have to basically save the land of Hyrule from Calamity Ganon. To do this, you can free the Divine Beast and the champions from Ganon's hold, and you use this to take out the big man himself. That is pretty much it. Sorry for spoiling the entire story, but the story really isn't the point here, and is serviceable enough for the setting. Once you have gained all the runes and done the 4 shrines on the plateau, the old man gives you a paraglider. Now the world is literally yours. From this point, you can go straight to the Ganon and beat the game if you want. Although that is incredibly hard and honestly brave of Nintendo to offer such a choice. What we realistically will do is go to Kakariko Village and see Impa. She will tell us about our memories and the Divine Beast. You can do them in any order, but the game definitely pushes a counterclockwise order, starting with Zora Domain's beast, Varuta. This is standard Zelda fare, and honestly adds a lot of charm and story to the lightweight story. Still light, the gameplay is where the game truly shines. There are 120 shrines and 900 Korok seeds. The shrines can be done, and the spirit ores obtained from them can be traded for either hearts or stamina wheels. They are plentiful enough to offer most of the game's challenges and puzzles. There are 15 towers that you can climb that will fill out the map in the Sheikah Slate. Oh, I guess I need to explain the Slate a little. It is basically a tablet that lets you interact with Sheikah technology like the towers and shrines. This is given to you at the very beginning. It is also how most of the NPCs identify you as the hero. Dotted all around Hyrule are little things that will drive an OCD patient crazy. My OCD is how I get so many Korok seeds. Because you will see something out of place, correct the problem, and then be gifted with Korok seeds. There are 900 of them. Fortunately, only 441 of them are needed to max inventory slots. And what you get for finding all 900 of them is a golden piece of poop. I'm not even joking. Just go for the 441 seeds, and hell, even half of that should have you pretty comfortable inventory-wise. If you do not defeat the Divine Beast, then making it to Hyrule Castle and defeating the Blights will become the only way to beat the game. You see, although the beasts are optional, defeating the Blights, infecting them will grant you with multiple goods. For one, you don't have to fight them in Hyrule Castle. You also get 1/8 of Calamity Ganon's life drained for every beast you complete. You get a heart container out of it, and finally you get a special ability that each champion will give you upon freeing them. These are incredibly useful. Mipha gives you Mipha's Grace, which will fully heal you if you take a fatal blow. Daruok gives you Daruok'S Protection, which reflects and blocks an attack from an enemy. Rivali gives you Rivali's Gale, which allows you to create a gust of wind shooting you into the air, letting you glide for longer. And finally, Urbosa gives you Urbosa's Fury, which shoots down lightning from the sky and destroys surrounding enemies. The shrines are also completely optional outside the first 4. What you must do in each shrine varies. Most of them are puzzle shrines, where you have to strategize and find a way to complete a simple task. There are usually many ways to accomplish the same thing in this game, such as using Cryonis to lift gates and cross bodies of water, Magnesis to move metal objects, and Stasis to freeze time on objects. Freezing time lets you either stop an object's movement or add force to it with weapons, setting it flying after the stasis releases. There are power puzzles that require you to use metal objects to connect points in the shrine. There are tests of strengths where you fight guardians and are rewarded with a spirit orb after. There are finally blessing shrines that are shrines with no challenge or puzzle in them. These are usually hard to get to, and the obstacle to get there is usually the challenge. I have discussed quite a lot, but there's even more things to discuss. The weapons in the game have a durability system. This means that weapons, shields, and bows all break after being used a lot. This is perhaps the most controversial thing in the game. A lot of people felt it was unfair to break the weapons after 1 or 2 tough encounters. Then there's others who like the breaking system. That would include me. I will tell you why I enjoy the breaking system too. I enjoy it because it forces the players to use almost every single weapon they pick up. This makes you learn how to do combat with every type of weapon. They all control differently too, which is a really neat touch. You will find the nuances of each weapon type change the dynamic of each fight when you're using different weapons. You usually can hold on to some of the best weapons though if you avoid too much battle. The Master Sword is the only weapon that repairs itself after losing its power. Hitting enemies with the breaking hit on either a weapon or bow doubles the damage output of that hit. Bows do not just shoot straight. They have their own ranges. Some bows do shoot forward at a very long distance. Some, however, require you to aim above targets to hit them. This is all part of the beautiful physics system in the game. It's really a stunning work of art. The next thing on the list would be horses. You can catch horses as soon as you get off the Great Plateau. You are allowed to go to a stable and register any horse you find for 20 rupees. This allows you to both whistle for a horse and get the horse at any stable in Hyrule. Jumping off the horse gives you just enough airtime to use the bow in slow motion. You can use the bow in slow motion anytime you are airborne. This slows down time and makes it easier to get off your shots at weak points. Combat is done well. Parrying allows you to unleash a flurry of attacks on enemies. Parrying things shot at you with a shield like lasers can damage some enemies like the Guardians. This game is super fun. With Tears of the Kingdom coming next month, it feels like we've waited a long time for this game. Seeing the new things in the game make me more excited to see what they finally give us in the end. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through this game again. My fiance enjoyed not only watching, but also playing with me. The beauty and charm of all the mechanics coming together to not only create a fun experience, but a beautiful collision of elements, from the exploration, puzzles, and refined combat system. Zelda really grew with Breath of the Wild. In a way, I feel that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are in their own little category. With arguments over 3D versus 2D Zelda, we now have open world versus them. The older games are still beautiful and well-made adventures, but the new direction of 3D Zelda is not just fun, it's legendary. It is deserving of all praise that it receives. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you think about Breath of the Wild. What do you love? What do you not like about it? How many cats do you own? Are you excited for Tears of the Kingdom? And remember to like, subscribe, and check that bell for more content like this in the future. And finally, remember to stay nerdy.